what's up guys, Yusuf Shah from TechDroids and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. And today's going to be a fun one because we're going to be talking about this little guy. This is the WD Black NVMe SSD. This is the M.2 NVMe SSD. It's 1 terabyte. It's available in other flavors like 512 as well as 2 terabytes. And in this video, we're going to be unboxing it and reviewing it. And also, I'll give you guys my review, my verdict. You know, you're going to get a video editor's perspective as well as a gamer's perspective. And we're going to be comparing it to this old guy here, a WD Blue Caviar hard drive, as well as a normal modern day, SATA SSD 2.5-inch drive. Again, this is the WD Green 240GB SSD, and this is SATA as well. And here you have one of these old guys, and this is a 320GB, 7200 RPM drive. This is what is there in most systems, that are budget oriented or something like that. So yes, in today's video we're going to be comparing it to the WD Black SN750 and find out what's the difference in speeds as well as just your user experience. So with that being said, let's get to the unboxing. Alright, so once you take it out of the box, let's talk about the design and build quality of this SSD. Now, again, as the name suggests, WD Black, this is a black color SSD with some silver accents on top, and I really like this design and it feels premium. Like, this whole SSD is made out of metal and the heatsink is pretty dense as well, so I think it'll do a really good job in heat dissipation. And the chip itself, the NVMe drive itself, is pretty thin, but the heatsink kind of gives it some thickness, some weight to it, but it feels premium and it feels like high quality. The materials used are very top notch, and that definitely helps in the performance of the drive itself, controlling heat and temperatures while you're doing those big data transfers. So that's that. Now, installation is going to be very easy, and I've installed this SSD in a bunch of PCs here in my studio, and one of them was like a budget motherboard. So it was a Gigabyte D350M HD3 that had a single M.2 slot, as well as I put it in my main rig, which has an ASRock Z270 Killer SLI AC motherboard that has two Ultra M.2 slots. And yes, installation is very easy. So you just insert it in the slot and just tighten it with a screw, and that's pretty much it. You fire up Windows and you go format it as a new NTFS volume, give it whatever name you desire, and you can start using it. And that's what I did. I did a bunch of tests, like I opened games from it, I opened softwares from it, I booted out of Windows from it, and there was a definite difference between the hard drive SSD as well as this M.2 SSD. And talking about just what advantages this will give you in like day-to-day usage tasks like opening up apps as well as booting from Windows. If you're a gamer, your games will open up faster. Like, we all know how long it takes to open GTA 5 and Counter-Strike Global Offensive on a PC, but this SSD definitely makes that process faster. And obviously, if you're a video editor, you can import a lot of data, a lot of video footage, audio and stuff like that really quickly. Rendering becomes faster. And this kind of SSD is for people who want to, move a large amount of data, like hundreds of gigabytes from the PC to the SSD and back and forth. They deal with a lot of data and they do a lot of read and write, copy pasting, and they want it to happen faster. And you'll know how fast this is when I show you guys the test results, but just letting you guys know what kind of improvements you'll get. So again, going over that, your operating system just becomes more responsive, more fast. Your games load up faster, your applications become faster, and basically everything else that you do on this hard drive will become faster. Just doing normal things like copy pasting stuff is also really quick. Now, talking about the difference between the hard drive, the SSD, and the M.2, I first tested the hard drive. So this is a 320GB 7200 RPM drive, just your run-of-the-mill drive. This will get you 100 megabytes per second read and write. No matter what you do, this is going to be the same speed. Now, upgrading from this kind of hard drive to maybe this WD Green SSD, this is a definite improvement as well. Again, this will give you 550 megabytes per second read and write, and it can be below that sometimes, but the average speed is around 500 megabytes. And definitely, so the SSD and hard drive have a 5 times difference. So the SSD is 5 times faster than this hard drive. But the big surprise, the big change comes up when you move on to this one. This one is 35 times faster compared to a normal hard drive. This 100 megabytes per second read and write, 3400 megabytes per second read and write. This kind of goes up to 3480 megabytes per second in one of my tests. So still, here and there, it's 35 times faster compared to a normal hard drive. And even when you compare it to a SSD, which is considered fast by many people, this is 7 times more faster. So this is 500 megabytes per second, whereas this again is 3.4 GB per second. So again, 7 times faster compared to a normal SSD. And talking about the write speeds, this will give you 2.5 gigabytes per second, so 2500 plus, and that's also no slouch. That's pretty good in my opinion. And nothing is going to give you this kind of performance. No SSD, no SATA SSD can give you that kind of performance. Also, don't get confused between a normal M.2 SATA SSD and an NVMe SSD. NVMe is always going to be faster than SATA, so that's just to get your misunderstanding out of the way. Now, talking about a gamer's perspective or a video editor's perspective on this kind of a drive, for video editing, this is going to be a dream come true. It's going to be heaven for you guys if you like to edit videos. If your footage is going to be big, like if you shoot from a high-end camera just like I do, and if your bitrate is really high, you're going to get really big files. Like one of your video files can be 15 gigabytes, 20 gigabytes. If you're shooting a full video or for a product, or if you're doing wedding photography or videography or something like that, your whole project is going to be around 300, 400 gigabytes average, and this comes in really handy while doing that. So let's say a hard drive like this takes 35 minutes to transfer something. This is going to do it in 1 minute. This takes 7 minutes to do something. This will do it again in 1 minute. So there's a huge difference while rendering things, while importing things, copy pasting things. And also if you're a gamer, this will load up your games really fast. Also, you can just download and copy paste games really fast as well, because your read speeds and write speeds are really high. So again, it's going to be an advantage everywhere, and that's pretty much it. The WD Black SN750 in my opinion is a really nice SSD. It's got really fast read and write speeds. Also, one more highlight feature of this WD Black SN750 is the heatsink on top, which helps in heat dissipation and keeping the SSD cool, because this is a really high speed SSD and it will get hot. It'll go up to 60 degrees sometimes, and the heatsink does a really good job of keeping those temperatures under control while you're doing those big data transfers of 300 gigabytes or 400 gigabytes. You won't see the temperatures rising that much, and all thanks to that heatsink. Also, if you're interested in buying one of these SSDs, I'll leave links down below to Amazon, and you can get them in 512 gigabyte, 1 terabyte, as well as a 2 terabyte model. So plenty of storage, and depending upon your configuration, your preference, and your needs, you can choose one. And that's pretty much it for this video. We've gone over the design, the unboxing, the comparison between speeds, and I've also given you guys my personal opinion on this SSD. So I hope that helped you. If it did, then go ahead and smash the like button, as well as go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future uploads. And let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about these M.2 NVMe SSDs? Have you ever bought one? What kind of storage are you using in your PC? So yeah, I'll be there in the comment section down below replying to you guys, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out.